have to have something that sticks. You have to have something that's monumental. When you walk out on stage, it has to be monumental.
Jiggle, jiggle.
Can you remember any of the rap that you did?
My money don't jiggle, jiggle. It folds. I like to see you wiggle, wiggle. For sure. It makes me wanna dribble, dribble. You know, riding in my Fiat. You really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact. No slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a knack to relax in my mind. I'm sipping some red wine.
I sit bruised from chalices, holding my palaces. Grip is so cramped, you sucker suffer from paralysis. Rhymes, I ride them in the castle. You try to diss me and pretty soon your arse will squat in the cell. Cause I can tell you it's illegal. Treason, that's the reason I'm real. Time for the crime of
What is going on YouTube? It's Brendan from Market Makers. Guys, how much do you love this channel? The Dotcom pattern is playing out bar by bar in front of your face, and the bears are super scared. The bulls are all roided up and super excited. Sounds like the best time to make money to me. Guys, if you love this channel, definitely like and subscribe and check out our two fantastic sponsors, SimpleFX, a decentralized FX exchange where you can trade all of the assets we share here on the channel, talking about the equities, individual equities too, such as Tesla, First Solar, and the commodities and cryptos. Check them out. Most of the world is unrestricted. If you're in a restricted country, download a VPN. Proton VPN is free, guys. Choose one of the two countries there in the free list that is not restricted. Here's a hint. It's not the United States. You can choose Netherlands or Japan from the free drop down, and you can trade on SimpleFX. Use our link and you get a $5,000 instant bonus deposit. Instant bonus deposit to your account to trade with based on your first time deposit, okay? All those details are all in the video description. They are a fantastic sponsor. It is a lot of fun to trade there. I think you guys will absolutely love it. And if you want a traditional crypto exchange, because that's what you're comfortable with, and you want to trade dozens and dozens of different altcoins, then check out BingX, another great sponsor. Link in the video description and in the YouTube comments as well, okay? And you don't need a VPN on Bing. Let's go ahead and get into this, guys. We went over this last two videos, one of which will be pinned at the end of this video, but catch up on the market pattern because this is absolutely stellar. Dotcom pattern on the left, 9 bars, 63 days. Test your trend line, you fail. 16 bars, 112 days. Break your trend line from your all-time high, back test it, rally up. 10 bars between tops on this double top that you made in the Dotcom pattern before you dumped 34%. What do we have over here? The exact same pattern, bar for bar. 9 bars, 63 days. Back test your trend line here from the all-time high. You fail. 16 bars, 112 days. Pivot down 10 bars, 70 days between tops on your co-equal high, which you made today. Guys, every trade setup that I've been sharing with you right now over the last couple of weeks either hit an optimal entry point or it's already in profit. And we're going to go over all of them here in the video today, okay? So if this pivot on the weekly time frame here on the E-mini plays out next week, the actual day would be next Friday. So if this pivot plays out, you've made the exact same co-equal high double top that you did in Dotcom with the exact same bar count. Let's go over to S&P with my esoteric pivot patterns, my 43-day pivots. What does this mean? Look where we struck. Remember, our targets were 41.43 to 41.73 for the exact same co-equal high double top. You see this? And we hit 41.45, came down some. I'm going to show you on the next chart what I expect price to do between now and the pivot. This week is a short market week, closed on Friday for Good Friday, Easter weekend this weekend. Pivot point right here, the esoteric pivot point, the spring equinox giving you your red alert here in green. Trend is going to change. 5-month uptrend, red alert, trend's going to change, and we hit the 1 fib. Absolutely key. Low volume rally up. Low volume rally means we could have Skynet with its buy programs, the algos buying the market, pushing price up. It's fewer participants paying higher prices. and or could be just a wave of retail coming in here to buy assets. The key thing being when you have low volume rallies, you're building volume divergence, and over time you build a top. So let's look and see how this could play out on the next chart. The S&P, guys. So we hit the 41.43. Here's our 45 angle, which has been absolutely critical and showing support and resistance. What I think can happen, because we have chop, today's Tuesday, we could have chop the rest of the week, guys. Next week, we have the CPI on the 12th. I think at some point you're retracing, coming down to test the trend line, which is about 40.50, 40.60, coming back up for a double top, a smaller double top on the daily time frame, which will land on your pivot of next Friday. By the way, what is that? It's Friday the 14th. It's Thursday the 13th. I thought it was Friday the 13th. That would have been interesting. And then you're sweeping this just like you did here. You see this? You came up, back test, come back up, and then you failed. Okay, this is the trade that I shared with you on the S&P where we shorted at 41.80, 9.5% move down. At a minimum, even if the market wants to go up, I still think you're going to get an extremely strong tradable move. And guys, I do believe, based on the way the market's playing out, this is your sell-off down to our target of 31.41. Could it go a couple hundred points higher? Could it go 100 points, 200 points lower? Of course it could. It's a target, but that's what I am targeting. But I think you're going to have some volatility here in between, okay? So watch for this here in the marketplace. Watch for this rebound on the way back up. The CPI, if it comes in a tenth of a point lower, you know you're going to get some FOMO in here. So if we come back down to 40.50, 40.60, watch for that move to 41.40 to say 41.80, exactly like we did over here. Go ahead and go forward to the DAX. Hit a great entry point as well. We talked about last couple of videos here on the weekly time frame. Remember, what you're doing here is just printing a massive double top on the DAX. Massive double top with a neckline. Roughly, what is that? Probably 11.8, maybe 11.7, 11.8. That's where your neckline is. And on the DAX, guys, on the weekly, you pumped up to the 15,653. Just be aware where I have the DAX going at the end of all of this is the 1618 at 8407. But that's not enough of a drawdown. If the S&P goes to its 50% target or past its 50% target, look for the DAX to hit the 2058 at 7,000. Okay, fantastic opportunity. So if we get more volatility in here, optimal entry points, like I said, is between 15.7 and 16.2, because on the daily time frame, we hit our 15.733 based on this geometric Gartley pattern. You can see we got some retracement. You can see the pivot date coming up. You can see the low volume. Nobody's buying. Algos are buying. Skynet's buying, or maybe some dumb money's buying. But this is getting near topping out before the pivot and our move down. Watch for the back test as well. And guys, what you did here on the smaller time frame of the daily, of course, is print yet another double top with your neckline around 14.6. Break that neckline, coming back down. That first wave down on the DAX, by the way, I have coming down to, like, let's say 11.1, 11.2, which is just below your neckline, where you'll probably get some type of rally because this is breaking your double top. That could be your next wave down, but it could go deeper, guys. It could go to that 10.6 level, and then you get some type of rally back to the upside. And if that rally holds, remember, when we're talking about the S&P, we're talking about the European indices. If the rally holds off the S&P low, this next wave down, first we got to break the October low. If the rally holds at the October low or just deeper, the 31.41 target, then you have that more upside potential. But the rally, in my opinion, across all indices will not hold. Why? Because the economy is in decay. We got ISM manufacturing down again for the 5th month in a row. You have to understand the dichotomy in the marketplace right now. The market is rallying as the economy is cratering. And what, at the end of the day, when you get past FOMO, when you get past denial, what do you need to have a strong stock market? You need a strong economy, because if the companies aren't making money, their valuations will go down. And see, the market hasn't figured this out yet. You have to understand psychology of the masses is the herd. Most money is dumb money. You guys have heard me say this over and over again. You hear people pick on retail. 80% of retail loses money, no matter whether it's in Forex, whether it's in stocks, whether it's in cryptos. That's true. But 84% of professional money managers can't beat the S&P over a 10-year period. That number goes up to 93% over a 20-year period. All money is dumb money. The big difference is the big financial houses can move the markets to manipulate the markets. That's the edge that they have, okay? So if you understand with patterns what they're doing with the money flow in the marketplace, you can get some high probability trades. That's what we do on this channel. Try to make as many people as possible money. Looking at the DAX here on the daily, you can see we hit above the 15.7. 15,733 could start topping out here as well, because it's going to depend on if the S&P is going to break that 4143 and try to push up closer to the 4180 to 4200 range, okay? But it's going to follow what the S&P does. Remember, the DAX went down 74% in Dotcom. And of course, the French 40. The French 40, if you see this, we hit our target optimal entry. 1618 was 73.64, got just above it. The French 40, you can even see it on the weekly time or 3-day time frame as well. You're printing just like the DAX, a massive double top in a larger scale. But inside of that, you're printing a massive double top here on top of Wyckoff as well. Do you see that? There's your 200 on the 3-day chart. And where do I have the French 40 going at the end of this? Which again, I would anticipate bottoming in October based on our pivot pattern. Watch the video 2 videos ago, guys. It's pinned at the end of this video. That's where I would anticipate it going, 4,552, if not deeper. I could easily go deeper, especially if the DAX falls deeper, especially if the S&P defeats that normal 50% target. But a high probability target for me is 4,552, which puts you right back in this accumulation, in between these accumulation ranges, recovering from the pandemic. So totally reasonable in my book. You can see the CAC here on the daily time frame. Again, low volume, extremely low volume rally, guys. Very key when you're looking at tops. Volume ratio is still bearish. Here's your previous all-time high as well, which you defeated on this pump up. And of course, you sold off heavily after you made that first previous all-time high. So I like that a lot. We went over the impulse pattern, the law of 3 pattern on Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. Went ahead and added the additional 3-wave patterns here. I threw it down here for a reason. I want to show you this sequence. So guys, if you're new to the channel, this is not Elliott wave theory. I don't trade with Elliott wave theory. I trade with natural law. So this is a law of 3 pattern. The market moves in 3s. Dow, Gann, Wyckoff believe that. Those are my mentors, if you will, where I spent my years studying marketplace techniques. Now, sequencing is always key. You guys see me do this on this channel. The 2 biggest rallies you had here, 46%, right? You see the big rally up. And then, of course, off this base, you had another 43%. Gann and Dow and Wyckoff wrote a lot about the natural halving and doubling in the marketplace. So what's fascinating to me is your 2 biggest rallies. These other rallies were much smaller, right? So this rally here up to there is like 26%, and this was like a 23%. So your 2 biggest rallies equals what? Equals roughly 89%. You want to talk about the doubling in the marketplace? Let's go to your low, go to your current high, 89%. The current rally equals your 2 biggest rallies. You see that? You doubled your rally. In other words, so this is your doubling here in the marketplace. It's really a 1-for-1, but you're combining 2 to get 1. So when you're looking at this on the daily time frame or the weekly time frame, you're getting doji candles here. You're getting resistance here. You're getting fade. Dojis can symbolize reversal of trend. They could be a consolidation period, or it could be a continuation, consolidation for a continuation. But you have to marry this to the macro, guys. And this is why the smaller movements, we talk about this, the smaller movements do not matter. It doesn't matter to me if Bitcoin impulses from 28, where it is now, up to our higher level target of 31, because all it's doing is giving me an even more optimal entry to short it, because the macro market conditions tell you the economy is crumbling, a strong recession is coming, been over those metrics many times, and everything will get cheaper as the year goes out, okay? Looking for our April sell-off in equities, which means we would have a sell-off in crypto as well, because despite what other YouTubers believe, I do believe I will be correct, and you will see the cryptos track with the equities when the equities hemorrhage trillions and trillions of dollars, okay? So this is something very key to keep in mind. And what did we do on this channel? Just to go over a couple of these moves here. This is what really put the channel on the map last year, March of 22, gave you the 48.2 trade, 64% drop, gave you this drop, gave you this drop. And of course, the Kepler's triangle trades here gave you these drops as well. And guys, I'll be lining up something here as we get closer to the April 14th pivot in equities to give you potentially a very strong trade in Bitcoin. Because where do I believe this is going? Well, that's simple. We're having our second FOMO rally as we discussed previously. Let's go ahead and get this fib on here. And I believe that will be at my target of roughly 12.8 to say 13.5. That's where I think this next wave is coming before you bounce back up again and then come down for your final phase in crypto, which is discussed, that target between 4,600 and 8K. Somebody asked me, could it go to 10K? Yeah, it could. Could it go to 3K? Of course it could. This is all about probabilities and trade setups. The most important thing is getting your entry, then not worrying about whether it goes to 4K, 8K. But first, guys, we got to have that second FOMO rally. Remember, Bitcoin's doing twice as much as the equities. It made 2 all-time highs, whereas most of the equities did not do that, minus the French 40. So Bitcoin is going to have a second FOMO rally, because this will be where everybody, all the big YouTubers are saying, just like the equity people are saying, finally, the final washout. Now we can pump up to 1 million by the summer. Now we can go to 90K, the road to the all-time high. But that won't happen in a crumbling economy unless the psychology of the investors changes and they do believe Bitcoin is 100% decoupled from equities. And guys, the proof is in the pudding. When the equities do sell off, when they do sell off and roll down, and you're talking about the S&P losing 1,000 handles, okay? If that happens and Bitcoin holds the line or goes up, then yeah, that is a super strong argument you have decoupled. If Bitcoin craters and comes down to my price target or deeper, then trust me, it hasn't decoupled at all. Skynet's using the same programs to buy all these assets. That's what's happening in the marketplace. Let's go to Bitcoin on the daily. Again, on the daily, what you're doing here is printing a massive double top still, okay? This is nothing more than the 1618 from a larger trend-based fib. Let me show you on the weekly, actually. Trend-based fib here on the weekly. All you can do, you can just go to that June 13th candle, 2022, up to your A, down to your B. There's your 1618, guys. Yes, you got above it. Bitcoin will get above targets. You got above it, but you're hovering at the golden ratio of 27,821. So what was your high here? 29, 29,200. Remember how parabolic Bitcoin is, but you got to break free of this ratio. And on the daily, I do have that upside if we do see more volatility or a strong move up before a dump, looking at 31,180, guys. And that seems like a stretch given what's happening in the markets. But if the markets, again, the pivot is not till April 14th. A lower CPI may be coming on April 12th. You could see some more euphoria. And because Bitcoin's parabolic, be aware of that upside target. That's why I'm waiting on Bitcoin to see what happens as that pivot date comes in closer. Looking at Bitcoin on the 8-hour, you can see multiple times now. You can see the larger pattern here for the double top, obviously, is your leg, your impulse up, down, up, and then this would be down again. So you got to watch 26,781 for your neckline. And right now you have chop in your Wyckoff range. You keep coming down to 27.7 for support. You keep going back and forth. You failed to make your pivot up here on the upside and hold it, okay? You have to be able to do that. You haven't been able to do that because the markets, in my opinion, looking at the charts, are close to topping out, minus some potential volatility. The NASDAQ, guys, the reason I don't don't have a NASDAQ trade on right now is we hit our key level of 13.1 on the 3-day chart. Obviously, you got up here before, it's 13.7. But when you look on the daily, I had 13.1 and 13.4, and you're in between them. Now, the NASDAQ's been outperforming the S&P heavily, that rotation in the big tech. But as you can see, getting a small retracement here, I want to see if we get an impulse up to that 13.4. It's a few hundred points, can make a nice difference when you're doing trades with futures. So I want to see if that happens as we get closer to the pivot. Let's go ahead and look at some trades that I shared with you guys, then gave you the entries for as well. These are also posted in our Discord. Tesla, we had the first entry there at 208. I told you I like this 208 to 220. Hit 208 and we got all the way down to like 190. So nice little drop here in Tesla, printing a gorgeous double top, which Tesla likes to do over and over again. You see this? And market makers like to do. This is your FOMO coming in. This is them selling into strength. And then this is the dip buyers. BTFD, rally back up where they sell into strength again. And then if the FOMO doesn't come in, you break your neckline and you go down. Guys, Tesla at a minimum is going to retest 100. Understand that's a huge drop, a 50% drop from that 200 level, right? It's going down. It would be going down 50%. And if it sweeps that low, you're going deeper, okay? Where will Tesla end up? I've had this target. I made a Tesla video months ago. I've had this target in the 30s, 1618. Just think about that. A stock that was $400 plus, but don't worry, there's no bubble. A stock that was $400 plus, 411, I think, will be potentially $30 by the end of this year and on October bottom. And how close have you gotten? You've gotten down to $100 already, okay? So watch this because Tesla could come down to 70, 75 on this next move down if it loses that $100 low. And then I'm looking to pick up Tesla at $30, thereabouts, $30, $40, $50 come that October bottom. And people think it's crazy, but guys, where was Tesla in the pandemic? Tesla was only trading at about $65. So if the indices themselves are going down below the pandemic levels or to the base of the pandemic, where did Tesla get to in the pandemic? $23. So at $30, you would still be above your pandemic low. And this is what a bubble looks like. You can see it so clearly on Tesla. Look at that meteoric rise and the meteoric sell-off, okay? This is what a bubble looks like. You have to understand what you're looking at. And of course, First Solar, garbage solar company, Greta's favorite stock that never makes any money. And what are they doing? They have a 257% rise since June of last year. Hit our optimal entry target at 217. Got all the way down to about 205 already off that entry. So just be aware, guys. If you take trades, look at the volume. Volume's down. The only big volume you got here was on selling. So if you take trades, always protect your profits. That's up to the individual trader, what methodology you like to use. Always protect yourself with a stop loss as well. And guys, let's go to the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room. Let's look at gold and silver, okay? Gold and silver, because we're getting up towards where a very binary event is going to occur. Binary 2055. 2055, 1618 is at 2055. Gold is at 2019. Look how well, by the way, this fib is tracking absolutely gorgeous. Okay. Bouncing off of 2023 like we did. We were bouncing off of 2000 a couple of times, and now we're pumping up. So the binary event is this is a 2-year chart. If gold gets up here and holds 2055, I can tell you with a much higher probability of where gold's going versus anybody on these channels, okay? These channels that you watch, talk about gold 5,000 and stuff. Let me give you a realistic target based on an actual pattern here. If it breaks out above 2055 and holds it, let's clear some of this stuff off. Well, you have to understand what you're looking at here when you look at this. So what you're looking at is a geometric Gartley base, okay? So you have your sell-off. I'll show you this when I draw it out, but you have your sell-off, and here's your trend-based fib. And we need some levels would be useful. Where is the one fib? 2147. If you can flip 2055 would be the target for this pattern to play out. This is a geometric Gartley. It is not a harmonic Gartley. It is not part of that trading system. And it would look like this, okay? This is the same pattern that's present on many of the indices, which gave us our optimal entries, okay? You see me use the trend-based fib and not actually draw it, but this is exactly what you'll be looking at, 21, 47, 780, with the 1618, if it got super bullish, 2359. And that is a massive move, but you got to clear 2055. That's the key. Flip 2055, hold it for support, then you can do this. If the markets start to roll, and you will find out at the end of next week, the following week, because that pivot day, April 14th, I believe, is on a Friday. So the following week should be selling, okay? And if gold holds up, well, that could be very bullish. But if it just gives you one of these by the end of next week, a spike up, look for that 20% down move to come, guys. Just be very well aware of that. Silver, and let's look at silver because silver pumped up. Look at this. Silver, again, silver is definitely more parabolic than gold. 2-year long trend. Let's get rid of this bearish pattern. We know where that target is. That target's 1642 if this does end up selling off, because this will be a binary event as well. We got a great 13.5% trade I shared with you guys right here, or 20% trade, I'm sorry, shared with you guys right here as well on this channel. And now we've broken through the trend line. Remember, I said you got to hold the trend line. You want to hold that one fib at 23.997. Guys, with that pivot date really close, I mean, I'm not longing here, okay? With that pivot date just over a week away, I'm not longing here, but you could end up coming up to hit a very nice target, such as 2610. If you hit 2610 and start making a shape, some type of double top or something, look what silver likes to do, okay? If you start making a shape, be very well aware of this because, again, binary event. If the markets do roll, if the pivots do play out, remember, there's no certainties in trading, but if it continues to play out exactly as it did in Dotcom, you could see the metals dump with it, okay? Because you did print a massive double top here, regardless of where this goes. You did print a massive double top here, so be aware of that. And if this does hold it and the metals continue to rise and the markets sell off, well then, let's look and see where that will go, because again, we can draw that same pattern. You have a geometric Gartley pattern here as well. Let's go ahead and draw this. So geometric Gartley, and there you go, 26,990, 26.99. The 1618 would be $31 silver. Is this as exciting as $100 silver that you see on YouTube or $50 silver? No, but this would be a tradable event. In other words, silver holds the support it needs to hold, be above 25. This is worth trading if the equities do sell off and silver continues to boom up. What do I personally think is going to happen again? Just like in GFC, I think when the banks are under stress, I think you'll see a crash, a mini crash cycle in these equities. Remember, silver went down 61%, gold 34%, and you could easily see this double top play out. However, if this bullish momentum holds on, guys, look at this, you're moving up, but you can see the double top on your MFI here. The bullish momentum holds on because the volume is still bad. You're still negative on volume. So if the bullish momentum can hold, you could have a nice upside. But if not, guys, it'll be coming down. Binary event, definitely waiting for the pivot date on the metals to see what happens that following week, to see where these things stall out or really build up some force. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Guys, this is a short market week. Again, holiday weekend here. Easter Sunday and Good Friday. I'll do another video this week, but I'll definitely be out there on Sunday or Monday as well with another video because next week will be huge. CPI comes out on the 12th and then a pivot day on the end of the week on that Friday. Should be our local high. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll answer your comments as always. Come check out our Discord. Remember, it is free if you try out one of our sponsors. I think I forgot to say that. Have a great week, guys. Another video will come out probably end of the week on Thursday. Take care, everybody.